Engineering, and I'm with the Digital Signals Processing Laboratory. This is my project titled Development of Ambulatory Ischemia Detection Devices. Let me give a brief introduction as to what my thing is all about. Yeah. Firstly, I'll start with what ambulatory ambulatory ECG is, what kind of noises corrupt an ambulatory ECG, and some of the algorithms that are used for noise removal, and the final hardware that I've been using for our project. Alright, for those who don't know, the ECG represents the electrical activity of the heart. This is how a general ECG looks like. It's recorded by using electrodes that are placed on the surface of your skin. Now, depending on where you place your electrodes, you get your ECG signal. This is how a general ECG signal looks like. That is the PR interval, the QR, RS, and ST. So these are the phases that we've actually put in to characterize and to analyze the ECG waveform in a much more easier way. Now, what is, by the way, ambulatory ECG is the ECG that is recorded when the patient is doing his normal activities. Usually, the way ECG is recorded in hospitals is that the patient lies down. We have 12 leads placed all over your body, and each of these leads gives a unique ECG signal, which is then monitored, and medical information is taken from these signals. But in ambulatory ECG, it's like a Walkman. You basically put two earphones onto your ears and you walk around. Ambulatory ECG is similar to that. Instead of putting earphones to your ear, what you normally do is you place them at specific positions on your heart or on your torso. This is done because what normally happens is that many diseases of the heart, they need continuous monitoring. They're very transitory. They come and go. So you can't expect a normal person who is doubtful of a heart disease to lay in the hospital for for 2 days, 3 days. He's not sick, but he's doubtful of what his problem is. So what he does, he puts on the ambulatory ECG device and he goes around. And what this device does, it stores his ECG and then it's later on used by the doctors for analysis. So, and an ECG signal, from a signal processing point of view, most of the information in the signal is from 0 Hz to 300 Hz, but the intelligence of the signal lies from 0.5 to 150 Hz. Right. Now, what are the challenges? Compared to clinical ECG, ambulatory ECG is more susceptible to noise. It's very obvious. Now, he's moving on, carrying out his daily activities. But what happens is that since he's moving, there's a lot of noise that corrupts your ECG. What kind of noise? Motion artifacts, muscle noise, and respiratory noise. Now, the other problem with ambulatory ECG is you cannot expect a person to have 12 leads on his body and walk around. It's very stupid. Clinical ECG, it's possible. He puts around 12 electrodes on his body and walks. Now this, you have only 3 leads. The other problem, clinical ECG, you have a huge computer with you, but ambulatory ECG, you just have a small Walkman kind of thing. So the processing power available to you is very, very limited. In summary, you have more noise to attenuate and less power at your disposal. So you have to be very, very efficient and smart in the way you design your system. Now, what is ischemia? Ischemia for the uninitiated is nothing but heart attack. It's a very simple heart attack. Now, it's, as we all know, it's the most common form of death, not only in the Western Hemisphere, I would say around the world. Now, what this device is aiming at doing is that, imagine there's a heart patient. He's not sure what exactly is the cause of his, what is the problem with his heart. So what he does, he wears this device and goes around. Now, this will detect the onset of a heart attack. Now, just before a person gets a heart attack, what happens in your ECG is that there is something called as ST elevation. Like I showed you previously, there is an ST segment in the ECG. Now there is an elevation in that ST segment. Now what this device does is it detects that elevation in the ST segment. The ST segment, by the way, is called the repolarization phase of the cardiac electric cycle. Now, we are aimed at developing low power, low cost wearable ECG devices. This is how it normally looks. Can't expect about this is the commercially available devices right now. But what the leads look similar, but the only difference is going to be that we're not going to have so many leads. We'll have just 2 or at the most 3 leads. And our device, if you can look at its waist, it's not going to be that big. It's going to be much smaller. Now, let's look at the kind of noise that affects the ECG. This is important because, like I told you, heart attack is detected using ST elevation. Now, in order to detect the small elevation in the ST segment, the signal that you get should be very clean. Now, what this does is, this shows the kind of noises that affect the ECG and how to eliminate that. Because only if you eliminate that noise, you will be able to detect your ST segment effectively. Now, the kinds of noise due to respiration, motion artifact, and muscle noise. Respiration, because the leads will be placed on your chest. As you breathe, if you breathe heavily like I'm doing now, it induces a noise called as baseline wandering. Motion artifact, even if you move your torso a little bit, the waveform is completely distorted. Muscle noise, your body is made of muscles. So even if you don't want to, the muscles will move and it will induce a noise. This is due to physiological origin, technical origin. There is something called as power line interference. Now imagine if you are sitting in front of your computer, you have a 60 Hz power hum. All the power lines in the United States are of 60 Hz. Now this hum will affect your ECG signal. At 60 Hz, there is going to be a noise. And of course, poor electrode contact. If the electrode contact your chest is bad, it induces a noise. Now, how do I take my signal for testing? Now, what I did is, what a person does in his normal life, he sits, he walks, drives, and probably does a bit of exercise if he is health conscious. So I did all of these and I took my ECG. So this is how a general corrupted ECG looks like. Now, this is a very general ECG. It has all the noises that I spoke about. The first one, motion artifact. Can you see this distortion? This was done when I was sitting in front of the computer and I just moved my torso. A small movement of my torso caused that thing. Now this is called as baseline wander. Can you see that curve kind of thing there? That is called as baseline wander. That comes when you're breathing heavily. High frequency noise. Can you look at the high frequency content there? That's not power line interference, by the way. That is high frequency noise. This is a signal that is, with which the power line interference has been removed. Normally what happens is power line interference can be removed in the hardware itself. You need not go to software. A notch filter, simple notch filter can be put in the hardware. Now, that's a baseline monitor. Baseline monitor is very important in my application. This is because I am detecting an ST elevation somewhere here. Now, if that is curved, I'll never be able to tell what is the elevation. So I need to remove that low frequency noise in order to